Well, good afternoon, Michiganders. It is Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. And of course, this is Tuesday with Tom, Michigan's only weekly podcast where we answer your questions about estate planning and estate settlement in Michigan. And we don't send you a bill. As always, I'm your host, Tom Doyle, estate planning attorney, lifelong Michigan resident, and ambassador for all things good in this great state of Michigan. Welcome to today's program. Well, just a brief recap. Last week's episode talked about when two or more people own Michigan real estate, the various ways that it can be owned. So if you're looking at having real estate in Michigan that you're going to own with somebody else, or perhaps you already do and you're not sure how it is owned and how it matters how it is owned, I invite you listen to last week's episode where I explain the different ways that people can own real estate in Michigan. Today's program, I'm going to talk a little bit about taxes today. In particular, the several ways that the Secure Act 2.0 might affect your retirement planning. But please remember that what I'm about to discuss is, as always, for educational purposes only. It is not intended to be legal advice or tax advice for you. You always need to work with your tax advisor and estate planning attorney and financial advisor to determine what is appropriate for you. Several ways that the Secure Act might affect your retirement planning. Well, back in December 2022, not that long ago, President Biden, when he signed his $1.7 trillion tax bill into law, it included the Securing a Strong Retirement Act 2022, otherwise called Secure Act or Secure 2.0 Act. And the whole point of that legislation was to encourage retirement investing. So let's talk about today several ways that the Secure Act might impact your retirement planning. And let's begin with required minimum distributions. You all know what those are. You have to start taking your funds out of your IRA at a certain age. Well, one of the changes that was made under Secure Act 2.0 is the age of RMDs has gone up. The original Secure Act pushed the RMD from 70.5 to 72, but Secure 2.0 Act has now raised the age to 73 beginning this year and will increase it further to 75 by 2033. So looking at your required minimum distributions, you need to know what the new ages are at which you are going to be required to make those minimum distributions from your retirement accounts. A second way that Secure Act 2.0 might affect your retirement is in the area of catch-up contributions. The idea being, if you are an older individual, you have the opportunity to contribute additional amounts beyond the normal annual contribution limits to catch up, if you will, because of the age, to increase the value of your retirement accounts. So individuals 50 or older is who it's directed to, have different ways to maximize savings as they retire or as they approach the retirement age. While catch-up contributions for IRAs are currently maxed out at $1,000, meaning in addition to the minimum amount, if you're 50 or older, you can contribute an additional $1,000. The good news is that catch-up contribution amount is going to begin being adjusted for inflation in increments of $100 beginning in 2024. So over time, presumably, that $1,000 amount will stay abreast of inflation, if you will, and allow additional funds to be utilized, added to your IRA beyond the normal contribution limits to help you catch up with your contributions. In 2025, the catch-up contribution maximums are going to rise for investors between the ages of 60 and 62 in an employer plan. So if you have an employer plan, you're going to be able to have catch-up contributions in your employer's plan as well. The limit is going to be increased to 50% more than the regular catch-up limit, or $10,000, whichever is greater. So those of you who are involved in employer contributions programs are also going to have some additional catch-up opportunities inside those plans as well. Good news for those of you who have Roth plans through your employer. Now the vested employer contribution amount is also going to be eligible for Roth treatment. Until now, your amount might have been available and attributed for Roth treatment, but your employer's vested amount was not. Now the employer's invested amount also is eligible for Roth treatment. Also, no more lifetime required minimum distributions for employer plan Roth accounts effective in 2024. So in 2024, if you have a Roth 401k or Roth 403b, you will no longer have lifetime required minimum distributions from those accounts, similar to what's been the status with non-employer Roth accounts. Staying additional looking at Roth, we now have the opportunity, or small business owners have the option to offer Roth versions of their simple or SEP Roth IRA account, or of their IRA account. So if you're offering either a simple retirement account or SEP Roth accounts to your employees, you now have the ability to offer those as Roth accounts, as well, which will be giving your employees some additional planning options now that they can be involved in Roth type accounts. Good news for those of you who do 529 plans. Part of the issue with 529 education plans has been, well, what if the beneficiary doesn't use up all the funds for educational purposes? Now what? Well, beginning in 2024, of course, subject to certain exceptions, but in general, beginning in 2024, 529 plan assets can be rolled over into Roth IRAs. So if you have a beneficiary that you have funds set aside in a 529 plan and they don't use those funds up, you might have the ability to have those funds rolled over to a Roth IRA for the beneficiary. Now, there's going to be some requirements or restrictions on those. For example, the 529 account must be at least 15 years old. The amount to be rolled over must have been in the account for at least 5 years. The Roth account has to be in the name of the plan beneficiary. And rollover contributions have to still be within the Roth IRA annual contribution amounts. And there is a maximum $35,000 for lifetime rollovers from the 529 plan to the Roth IRA. But it does give you some opportunity to look at the excess contributions in your 529 plans and what you might be able to do with those. Another change, qualified charitable distributions, QCDs. That's where you've got money in your IRA or money in your Roth and you're looking at required minimum distributions, and rather than taking the required minimum distribution, you direct funds from those accounts to a qualifying charity. That's called a qualified charitable distributions, and then it counts towards your required minimum distribution, so you don't have to take the money first and then pay the tax on it and then make the contribution to the charity. It can go right from your retirement plan to the charity, which you're basically transferring, if you will, pre-taxed funds. Currently, individuals can make up to $100,000, of QCDs annually, beginning at 70.5. Well, under Secure 2.0 Act, starting in 2024, the QCD limit is going to now be indexed for inflation, which means it's going to obviously at some point be substantially more than the $100,000 that is currently available annually. Additionally, starting this year, that would be in 2023, you can now use QCDs to fund charitable remainder trusts and to fund charitable gift annuities. So you're no longer limited to simply having the funds directed to an existing charity as in the past, but there might be some tax planning involved in why you're looking at setting up a charitable remainder trust or perhaps a charitable gift annuity, and you can now have those contributions directed to those trusts and gift annuities, and it will still qualify as the qualified charitable distribution. So those are just a few. I'm trying to look at my list here and see if there's anything else that I wanted to mention, but I think those are the ones, as I was reading through some articles recently, that I wanted to make sure I pointed out to you. The required minimum distribution, catch-up contributions, vested employer contributions, no more required minimum distribution for the employer Roth accounts in 2024. The employers have the ability to offer simple and SEP Roth IRAs. The big one, though, for many of you is going to be that ability to roll over assets from a 529 plan into a Roth IRA. And again, for those of you who are using qualified charitable distributions as part of your tax planning strategy and your gifting strategy, that $100,000 annual is now going to be indexed for inflation, and you can now have those funds directed to charitable remainder trust and charitable gift annuities. Of course, as always, Amanda and I would be honored to have the opportunity to help you protect your loved ones by putting together your estate plan, perhaps amending a plan that you already have, or assisting you in settling a loved one's estate. Simply go to our website, doylelawpc.com. There you're going to find all the information that you need on how to schedule an in-person consultation at the new East Lansing office, or how to schedule virtual consultations via Zoom or telephone. Wherever you happen to be in the state of Michigan, we can likely work with you using technologies such as Zoom, email, the internet, etc. And reminder too, if you're looking for an individual legal document, perhaps all you need is an updated certificate of trust. At the website, you're going to find our legal store. Through the legal store, you can order individual legal documents that can be prepared and emailed to you. You'll also find information currently on documents, and you have the ability to order them through our Facebook page as well. So again, please visit DoyleLawPC.com for complete information on all of the services that we provide and how it is that you can schedule a consultation with us. Well, that's going to be it for today's show, though. As always, if you have a comment about the program, perhaps a topic that you'd like to have me discuss or questions that you'd like to have answered, please send me an email, tom@tuesdaywithtom.com. Also, please follow us on Facebook and invite your friends and family to do so. That would be at Tuesday with Tom, and the office Facebook page as well is Doyle Law PC. Remember, too, that Tuesday with Tom is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, or perhaps whatever other service you use for listening to your podcast. And as always, you can ask your smart speaker to play Tuesday with Tom. Well, thank you again for spending some of your time with us today. And as always, I hope that you have an awesome day and an awesome week in Michigan. Stay safe. Tuesday with Tom has been brought to you by the estate planning attorneys at Doyle Law PC. To learn how we can help you with your estate plan or with settling a loved one's estate, please call us today at 517-323-7366. That's 517-323-7366.